Summertime and the teenagers are maybe down the shore. They're off in their own room. You're losing contact with them. They're getting into trouble. And then you got all these cases of bully. What are we doing with our kids? How can we get closer to them? Our next guest wants to motivate families, empower parents and children to feel more like a unit again, a family unit. We're kind of tearing apart.
We are a little bit. This is Michael McGill Jr., best-selling author and family expert, joining us now. So it's good to have you with us.
It is great to be here in Philly.
Yeah.
Summertime.
Absolutely. So let's get, how can we reconnect with our kids, especially the teenagers?
Well, this is a prime time, Mike. It really is. It's a prime time because it's summertime. They are, away from school. They are at home. And I think that we are just so disconnected as a family unit. But then who can we blame it that we have all this technology? Parents on phones, parents on Twitter, all that stuff. Foolery.
Yeah. So that disconnect is really the core issue. You think it's at the base of all of the problems that we're seeing with kids and parents and families?
I really do. I spent a couple of years as a violence prevention expert for an inner city school district, and I would tell you how many times parents would be actively involved in suburban schools and inner city schools, whatever it may be. And then I did case studies of young people who had parents actively engaged and how their whole demeanor was different. So I can pinpoint.
But you know what? I discovered some of my teenagers, my daughters when they were teenagers, their behavior isn't really who they are a lot of times.
That is the key. And see, a lot of times as parents, let me tell you, parenting is the number one, it's the easiest job to avoid, the hardest job to do. And it's very cumbersome, it's very difficult, me and having my surrogate kid as I have. And so with him being a teenager, it is cumbersome. But however, many young people, they're going through that battle of self-discovery, self-identity. And so a lot of times I'll tell parents, yes, it's stressful, but you got to learn to relanguage.
Yeah. What's relanguage?
Well, that's something we were talking about in the break, and I try and do it even with my 3.5-year-old. Not necessarily pinpointing her as being bad, but say, hey, you can't hit. That behavior is bad. Is that what it is?
And that's what relanguaging is. In essence, all of our words have power. I believe that as a life coach, all that good stuff, all of our words have power. And so when you relanguage, you modify the word to attack the behavior, not the person.
Here's one.
But is that?
Oh, can I just real quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
You all have good energy. I like it.
Yeah, we're on coffee.
And I'm not.
Sometimes they make you so mad.
Yes.
Your children.
Yes.
You got to force yourself to go over and hug them and love them. Is that still work?
Well, it's what I call the 3 C's. Be clean, clear, complete. You be clean in your language because you are the parent. You are in control. If you don't want to be a parent, don't have kids. Be clean, be clear, be complete. When a child does something inappropriate, you say, hey, Mike, I love you. You are my prince. However, your behavior is not prince-like. Your behavior is self-destructive. Now, what can you do differently? It's what we call giving kids a sense of autonomy. At their age or their stage of development, we want to make them as self-sufficient as possible.
I will tell you this, the best lessons that I think I was able to teach my daughters when we were driving around where they couldn't get out of the car, we discussed things, and another one when we were watching TV. You'd see something on TV, like on MTV, and I would respond, and they would find out my opinion.
But you know what we call that? I call that CT. Just say it with me, Philadelphia. CT. CT. For CT, it means couch time. It means having individualized, especially if you have multiple children. Ooh, that's a hard thing. Individualized couch time with each baby. Each person gets their own time. No cell phone, no iPhone. And parents go, well, they don't want to talk to me. Well, how many times have you made them? Who's in control of this household? I'm the queenie or the king of my castle. This is my domain. Let it be your queendom or your kingdom.
Perfect. You call it like a date night, really. How often do you have to do that?
Well, I believe it should be done at least 30 minutes a day because everything is going on in the psyche of a child. Think about it. Young people, in fact, after school are the most critical hours because that's when the most disruptive behavior happens. Young people, in many cases, and some join gangs because they want that need of belonging, as even Maslow said, that hierarchy of needs, that sense to belong, that need, if you will. And so with parents, if you connect at least 30 minutes a day for the first couple of times, they may not be interested because it's foreign to them. But the more you connect, the more, because young people want to be loved.
And
they
they'll
want
come
to talk.
To you?
Eventually, when you establish that rapport and you affirm them for who they are, they'll begin to come to you simultaneously. And so you have that conversation. It's called couch time. And so you set a date one time, then that way that they can see your life, then they set a date. You get into their
business. How do we find out more about you? What, you have a website, you have books, what is it?
I do. I have a book. It's entitled Soul Vitamins, bestseller. I was here for an empowerment conference to give a lecture. And then my website, www.mcgillspeaks.com. Social media, Michael McGill Jr. Be encouraged, everybody. Be encouraged. Be happy. We have 86,400 seconds in a day. How many minutes or seconds are you maximizing that with your kids?
0.
Got like
we got to
5%.
relanguage. You're a good parent. However, we've got to modify our behavior.
He'll
What
be
are
here
you doing?
talking the rest of the day.
I know, right? I love it. This is what I do.
You're a great guy.
Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate it.
You'll be able to find his books and his website by linking into ours, myfoxphilly.com. That's probably the easiest way to do it.
Yep.
Great to see you. Good to have you
Great.
in Philly.
Thank you,
you.
Philly. Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours.
The choice is yours.
Yes, sir.
Hey, coming up.